What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection 2 Yellow Ranger figures. So these were two figures that they sort of released separately. I thought they were going to be exclusives. They may be like fan channel exclusive or something, but I thought they'd be to a particular place for a like yellow celebration or whatever. But we just have these two today, which we have the Lost Galaxy Yellow Ranger and the SPD Yellow Ranger. So both are really cool, and both, like with Yellow, we're finishing off SPD, and with Lost Galaxy, we're one more closer to finishing off Lost Galaxy there. So both of these are pretty cool, and of course both Yellow Rangers, so gonna have a lot of similarities. So we'll just be looking at a lot of yellow stuff today, but both of them look pretty cool, and if we spin the packaging around, we can see the figures and what accessories they're gonna come with there on the back and stuff. So hopefully both of these figures are pretty cool. So let me go and get them open, and we'll take a look at them together. So we're going to start off with the Lost Galaxy Yellow Ranger, which is Maya, and she's from a tribe on the jungle planet of Miranoi, where her village was being attacked and she was chased through a portal, where she ended up meeting the other Rangers on Terra Venture, and they decided to help her go back through the portal to save her village, where they all ended up pulling the Quasar Sabers to become the Galaxy Rangers. But for Maya specifically, she tends to be an empath that's sensitive to the world around her and has a connection with nature, and so she looks pretty cool here. You know, looks like all the other Lost Galaxy Rangers, just in yellow this time. So she has the yellow spandex on her arms and midsection going down to the legs, and then she has white in the middle with the zigzag design, the Charlie Brown design, or whatever you want to call it there, as well as on the top of the gloves and at the top of the boots. And then we get the belt around the waist with that like V logo there and the holster on the side, and then her unmasked face, which overall I think looks pretty decent. I love the hair design with like the curly hair hanging down there in the back. I think that all looks really good. It looks like she has some dirtiness and stuff there with her hair, but the face design doesn't look absolutely horrible. The nose just looks a little bit too big, but otherwise I think they did a really good job with her. Like as usual, it's not spot on, but I think it's one of like the better versions, at least to me. So I really enjoy that. And then overall the design of the figure is pretty nice, and it seems to be, I want to say, like the older models, so don't have as many issues with the body as we've had with the figures more recently. So I don't know if this is just older because it's the Lost Galaxy design, not exactly sure what's going on, but it just does seem to be an older model. But it has the pinless joints there in the elbows, but it still has pins in the knees. But we can do her movements, so her head can twist around. It'll probably be hard with the hair to twist all the way around. No, there, we can get it to go around, and then she can look down that far and then up just about straight on. Of course, if we put on her helmet head, she'll get more range in there, but pretty decent. The shoulders can come up, it'll feel a little bit stiff, so you can get them up there to 90, actually maybe even a little bit over. They're kind of popping real stiff in that joint there, but it has the butterfly joint back and forth, so good range for that. And then it can rotate all the way around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that can bend up all the way up on itself that far, at least, with the wrist that can twist around and flex back and forth. Then we have the upright crunch, so crunch back and forth and twist around, which I noticed with the zigzag, it seems like they cut off. So looking at pictures, it seems like the points of the zag should be hitting right at the yellow, but it seems like it's scooted down a little. And then also I noticed it with here how they're sort of like cut off, so I don't know if they messed up the printing, like if she was in the wrong spot or something, or if they designed her like that intentionally. But yeah, just noticing that there. And then she has the lower crunch down towards the waist, which pretty stiff for these, but you can crunch them back and forth there. Then we get the hips that come up to 90 and out to the side, thigh twist all the way around, the double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, so not too bad. Should have a shin twist there at the top of the boot, and then the foot can flex back and forth and twist side to side. So pretty good movement, some stiffness, especially like up in the shoulder for some reason. And then just it seems like the paint job isn't like the best, like I said, unless they designed it like that, but I don't think it's right. So kind of stinks it's not perfect, but it overall isn't bad, especially compared to Rangers we've been getting more recently. I'm overall pretty happy with this. It's not the best, but it's much better than they have been. But for accessories, we get some additional hands. So she has two hands on, like doing like the rock out hands, so I don't know what those for exactly, but I know she's posed with that and stuff in pictures. But we also get a flat palm hand and a grip hand for her weapons. And then we also of course have to have the helmet head for the Power Rangers, so we have the helmet design, and she controls the wolf Galacta, so it's supposed to have like that wolf design, so it's got the eyes, and then we're supposed to be like the wolf ears and stuff there. But I love the whole V shape there on her mask and the little mouth section and stuff. So overall looks pretty decent. Don't know if it's 100% accurate or not, because I can't commit that much to my memory, but overall I think it looks pretty good. So let's switch the helmet out. So there's the helmet switched out, and with that it makes me remember that when seeing pictures for this, I always thought the neck was way too long on this figure, and now having it here in hand, I remember that, and it does look way too long. Like there's way too much room in here, so I don't know what that is about. So I don't know where that came from, if they found pictures from like a Sentai where a male was in the Yellow Ranger suit and had a long neck or something, or what the deal is where it just has a long neck in there, which is really weird, and usually you can kind of angle the helmets down to help a bit, but this doesn't seem to help very much, so I don't know what's going on there. Overall, it's not horrible. Like, you know, it still looks like the Yellow Ranger, just has a really long neck, which is kind of weird. So definitely not the best figure, like design wise and stuff, but it could always be worse. And with Power Rangers, that's been happening a lot recently. So it's not absolutely horrible. But then for weapons, first we get the Quasar Saber. So we have the collapsed down version, which has the wolf head there in the center, and overall looks like the other Quasar Sabers, which we can stick into the holder here. And just like the past ones, one thing I like about it is that when you get it all the way down in, it sort of like clicks in and pops in. So it definitely won't be falling out very easily. So overall, that is pretty cool. Of course, we could stick that in our hand as well. And then weirdly, instead of coming with like the trans dagger or anything like some of the other Rangers have, we get the Quasar launcher, which we got, I think, with like the Red Ranger or something in the past. But we get the Quasar launcher there in the yellow this time, which looks just like a, you know, big rocket launcher and stuff, which has a hole on the end for the Hasbro effect. So I love the colors of this, where the blue with the pink on the end of it there. So that is pretty cool, but don't really know how we'd exactly get this in our hand, but let's see if I can. So pretty hard to get her posed up there with it, but I do have the Quasar launcher there in our hand, and I guess that looks pretty cool, but definitely not how I'd be storing it on the shelf or anything. And I wish she came with her version of the trans daggers, just because I think it'd be cool to have them all with those weapons. But yeah, there she has the Quasar launcher, like I said, pretty crazy. And of course in the box they just have her holding it down, like with her hand down holding it, but that's how you'd use it as like a rocket launcher and stuff. So there we have it there, which like I said, overall does look pretty cool, just not something I would want to have my Rangers doing. But cool that it does come with it, but like I said, I wish we would have had the trans daggers instead. But overall, now that we have her, we can add her in with the rest of our Lost Galaxy Rangers, so let's bring them in. So there's the rest of our Lost Galaxy team, where we have green, blue, and Magna Defender there, and I think we just got pink in yesterday at the time of this recording, so that video will be out soon. Yeah, now we just need the pink Ranger, and like I said, we just got her in, so we'll be able to throw her in here and complete out the Lost Galaxy team, which is cool. So pretty cool to have Maya added in here with the rest of the group. And then finally we have the SPD Yellow Ranger, or Zia Delgado, who had been living on the streets since childhood, where she befriended Jack Landors and they became like siblings. And while they were committing some crimes, they were arrested by SPD and offered the chance to become Rangers by Commander Kruger. And so she became the Yellow Ranger number 4 on the team. And she was born with genetic powers of replication to be able to create clones of herself. And overall, she looks pretty cool. So it looks like the rest of the SPD Rangers as usual, just all in yellow this time. And as I said, she's number 4 on the team, so she has the 4 design there. And I always love it with the, you know, spandex collar and then the black sleeve on the one side and stuff and that number there. So that's cool. She has the SPD logo up on her chest and their badge on the side, so that's pretty cool. We have her face there, which we'll look at more. Then going down, we have the belt around the waist with SPD, and then the holsters there for her weapons. And again, spandex legs going down to the all yellow boots with the black and silver bands at the top, which looks like there's some paint issues going on there, so that looks pretty messy. Then she has the silver and black bands there around her wrists as well with the white gloves there. So overall looks pretty decent. And then we got her face, once again, looks pretty decent. Not nearly as much as I thought Maya did, but she looks pretty decent. It's Monica May, the actor, so it looks relatively decent. Like I said, I love the hair design once again, but the face itself doesn't look very good overall. But we'll do the movements so the head can twist all the way around. Again, got to worry about the hair twisting all the way around there, and then can look down that far and then up just about that far. Again, with the hair, you can't really do too much. Then we get the shoulders that come up to 90 with the butterfly joint and rotate all the way around. We get the single elbow joint for this one that bends up to 90 there with the rotation, and the wrist can twist around and flex back and forth. Then we got the ab crunch, so right under the chest one, we get the crunch back and forth and twist around, and then the lower crunch as well, so crunch forward and crunch back there. So pretty good with both of those. Then we get the hips that come up to 90 and out to the side, thigh twist all the way around, the double knee joint that bends up that far to the back, and I think it's this side. Yeah, it looks like our knee joint was starting to like pop out, which we can easily fix, just have to heat it back up and like squeeze it back in to get the pin back in around the joints there, but it has come undone, so you can see that gapping there around the leg. So that's another issue with this figure. A shin twist at the top of the boot, and then the foot can flex back and forth and twist side to side. So once again, it's got pretty decent movement, still not the best. And of course we have the single elbow joint for her, so still have some issues you can see with the pain and stuff as I mentioned, and then the popping out there, but we can fix that joint and stuff. So it's nothing major, but like I said, it's not nearly as bad as the Rangers have been, but obviously we're still having issues. But for accessories, we get some additional hands, so she has a grip hand and then like an open hand to hold her morpher, but then she comes with some additional hands with using hands like this. Don't know what it's for exactly or what they do, but I've seen pictures of the Ranger with doing these hands, so again, not really sure what they are unless it's supposed to be like guns or whatever. But yeah, it's cool she comes with them, since like I said, I saw them in pictures, but don't really know if I'll use them. But of course for this, we have to have the helmeted head. Again, all in yellow, looks pretty much like the others, still has the SPD badge up there, and then she's number 4 on the team, so she has the 4 sections there in black up top, and then of course the red like on the ears and stuff, and overall looks pretty good. So let's switch this out. So there's the helmet there, and yeah, definitely definitely unlike Maya, her head does not sit nearly as high. So again, don't know what they did with Maya compared to like this one, but yeah, definitely love the sitting of that, much closer down and stuff. So definitely love the look of that overall. And then of course we get her accessory. So first we have to have the Delta Morpher, which I believe this is supposedly printed backwards or upside down or whatever. So kind of stinks they messed that up, but let's try and just put this in her hand here if we can. So if you definitely get it placed perfectly in her hand, it will stay there, but it'll just easily fall out with little movements and stuff. But it's cool she can at least hold on to it. And then we get her weapon of the Delta Max Striker, which is a combination of the Delta Max Knuckles. So we have just this separate piece here, and then the blade that goes into it. So with this we can put it together and turn it into a gun, but we can also store this on her separately. So we have the piece here that goes on this side, so you have to get it down in there and then kind of swing it around and swing it forward, and it'll store on the side there. And then with the blade part, you can store it then on this side, so slide it down in here. It stores on the side there just like that. So she has both of those. And so like I said, you can take both of those, put them together and into the gun form, or you can just take the blade and extend it down and it turns into like the nightstick or whatever. So let's put this in her hand. So there she's got the nightstick form. So that looks pretty cool. So now she's ready to arrest some people. And with that, we also get a Hasbro effect of this like blue lightning effect thing that goes on the end of it. You just slide it down in here. So it goes on the end of her weapon like that. Don't really know why you do that. This usually goes on normal swords. So sliding it on this weapon is kind of weird because it's real loose. And it's almost, it'd then be like a shock stick or something like that, which is pretty crazy. So don't like that as much, but it's still cool to really have Z now. And again, we can add her with the team because we now finished the SPD team off. And with that, we have our entire SPD team now. So we have all 7 figures. So pretty cool to finally have another fully complete team of figures with the SPD. So pretty cool to have that. And I can officially put them in my perfect stances and everything up on my shelf on display. So really cool finishing off team. So awesome to get the Yellow Ranger to finish this team out. So that is going to be it for our 2 Power Rangers Lightning Collection Yellow Ranger figures that we got here, released specially, whatever, all by themselves, where we had the Lost Galaxy Yellow Ranger and SPD Yellow Ranger. So cool to have them now. Like I said, getting the SPD Yellow is cool because now we finish off SPD, and then adding the yellow now just leaves us with the Pink Ranger left, which we just got. So pretty cool to have these now because, like I said, now we're starting to finish off teams, which is really exciting. So really cool to have both of these figures now, and both are pretty decent. As I showed, both have issues, so they're still not perfect Rangers, but they're better than they have been more recently, but still minor issues that I wish they would change and stuff. But let me know what you thought of these 2 down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this review, let me know with a thumbs up. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.